This has not been a perfect season for Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence throwing and intercepted.
However, against the Raiders, he came back from down 17 and had the highest PFF grade of his career. So let's talk about what he did so well in this game. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here, it's going to be a cover 2 zone, and this is exactly what Doug Peterson likes to do with his team, is stuff like this. Run play actions at the appropriate time, get guys open in gaps in coverage. This is a big chunk of why you have seen Lawrence take a step forward, is in part just because there's easier throws now than he has had to make. Watch how when Lawrence takes a snap and looks down the field, you see how far those linebackers bit on the play action. They moved very far in. The one linebacker who's trying to get back has his back completely turned. And you also have a safety who is very much respecting Christian Kirk, which, again, we can make fun of that contract all we want. Is it a great contract? I'll let you be the judge. But this is why they did it, is because Christian Kirk is still someone who will demand respect on the football field, who will get a safety to make sure he doesn't get beat deep in this scenario. Safety's still too far deep regardless of that, but still, these are the kind of things that you do if you're Jacksonville, is you take advantage of weak defensive players. Lawrence is able to make this throw. It's such an easy throw for Lawrence to make, and those just, it's not that they happened a lot less under the Urban Meyer era, they just did not happen. And so because of that, the fact that Lawrence just has some of these plays, again, not like these are the only plays that Lawrence is winning on, we'll get to more in a second, but the fact that those are just happening to some degree is just a huge advantage for Jacksonville, and it's a huge advantage for Lawrence, and it just makes it a lot easier for him. In fact, I know they got off to a slow start. I didn't think the slow start was really his fault at all. I thought that it was kind of just fluky plays going against him in some areas. Like this one, this is a great play from Lawrence that's going to end up not working out, but I still like this play. Again, the way I evaluate a quarterback is I don't just look at did the play work or did the play not work, because there's a lot of things that are out of the quarterback's control. Despite what Twitter might want you to think, football is in fact a team sport, and a quarterback does not control the entire outcome of the game. So this is a good example of that. You see, the Raiders are showing a blitz here. It might not be a blitz. You don't know if it's a blitz, but it could be even a cover 0. Again, they're making it as though if they do blitz, it's going to be pretty easy for them to run the blitz. In this scenario, just look at the field and think about what would you do. You're throwing the ball here. How would you go about throwing the football? Well, how about something like that, right? That makes sense, because if it is a blitz, it'll get wide open. And even if it's not a blitz, even if those players who are showing as though they could be blitzing drop back into coverage, there still should be a quick window where Lawrence can make the throw, especially if you have your receiver who's closer, currently in that box, but closer towards the offensive line. If he kind of runs a route too, you should have a little window outside the numbers. So, okay, this makes sense. Lawrence has his read. Lawrence knows where he wants to go with the football. Right when this play begins, Lawrence takes a snap. Lawrence looks towards, this is going to be Evan Ingram on this play, who I've always felt like Evan Ingram gets a bit of a bad rap. Like, listen, he has an issue that we're going to talk about in just a second, but as a whole, can get open, which is, still nice to see. I'm not saying Evan Ingram earned his Pro Bowl, status that he got a couple years back. I'm just saying there's value in him. But you see, he's winning this route because it was a good route. Worth noting, it is actually zone coverage. They drop back in the coverage, but Lawrence doesn't care. He made his read quickly enough, his pre-snap read quickly enough, that he now knows where to get rid of the football. Lawrence makes this throw, and it's definitely a bit behind Ingram. There's no denying that. Still probably should have been caught, though. That's kind of how I view it. So, to me, I like this play from Lawrence. Lawrence making his reads quickly. Part of it is, I think good coaching allows him to do this. Not the best throw he had all game, but again, a throw that still probably should have been caught. That's kind of the one issue with Evan Ingram, right? He's not someone who's known for his great catching. But now let's go over here. One of the things that I feel like Lawrence never gets enough credit for is his athleticism. The guy's an incredible athlete. And listen, he got drafted in a draft with Justin Fields, who's just one of the best athletes at the quarterback position we've ever seen in terms of being, just huge and also very mobile. Also, it didn't help with Zach Wilson being one of the guys who, Zach Wilson's made some of the most unbelievable highlight reel level throws I've ever seen, just lacks, obviously, consistency. Lawrence is still maybe just as good as those guys, if not barely underneath those guys in both of those assets. And this is going to be a great example of the athleticism, where it's going to be you see the one particular block that I've pointed out here. Right when this play begins, you see how he gets through, not untouched, but untouched, basically. There's an immediate pressure, so this passing concept just isn't going to work out. These actually don't happen as often as people think they do, but it happened here. Again, Lawrence could maybe try to step up and then make a throw, but he has a better idea. Watch him just take off. So he's going to get the first down here. It was third down. They had to get to the 35. He's going to get the first down. I think some people might think he would slide right here, but he doesn't have to slide, especially, you kind of see there is a running lane, and this is just incredible. Watch him run through everybody, and he's able to pick up a big gain. And again, I definitely think part of what allowed that to work was the fact that there are defensive players who are always going to say, listen, if I touch you in the wrong way, I'm getting 15 yards. I'm trying to not let that happen. Even this play wasn't quite as bad as a unnecessary roughness penalty would have been. So, okay, it sucks, but you'll live with it. But also for Trevor Lawrence, I mean, it's a really athletic play, right? Part of it, too, was guys still would have made a tackle had they been able to get a hand on him. I mean, he was able to kind of, be explosive enough. I think surprisingly explosive, and they weren't able to take the proper angle they should have. So I think both things are true. Something like this is another good example where it's going to be a man coverage play, and, in man coverage, who's the guy who's been their best receiver? It's the guy they spent all that money on. It is Christian Kirk, who's running a route that's designed to get towards the sideline on the top of the screen. Again, he's your guy, so look in that direction. Lawrence takes the snap. Lawrence is going to look up in that direction, and you see how Kirk is starting to get the outside leverage right here. Because of that, when Lawrence makes this throw, he is able to just put it right on the money. Lawrence knew exactly where to put it. Again, simple stuff. This is not too complex, but this is what's making the offense go well. Is the reality is stuff that isn't that complex. That's what you want to see happen. Good offenses look easy, and we're seeing at times this Jaguars offense look easy. It's not been perfectly consistent this year, but it was great in this game. It really was. Like, this plays another good example of, it's a good concept. Again, Doug Peterson knows what he's doing, especially against maybe a subpar defense. He can really, eat those alive, and that's what's happening in this game, where you see that the two receivers lined up towards the offense's left, so towards the bottom of the screen, and how they're running deeper routes. What this is going to do is serve two purposes. It's going to push the safety back, but it's also going to push the corner back, meaning that, as in the cornerback back, meaning that, it's further, the guys who are in charge of covering deep are going to stay further deep. You also have another receiver running underneath and a receiver running over the middle. So the over the middle route is the one that you want to see get open. And as Lawrence takes the snap and looks in that direction, the over the middle route is the one that is getting open right here. Watch as Lawrence makes a great throw right before getting hit. They pick up a big gain. I mean, that's again, was it easy in the sense that it was open? Sure. Not easy to stand in there and take that hit to make that throw, but he was able to make that work. Still throws one of the prettiest balls you will see in football. And again, it's just easier right now. Things are going well, and this was a very good performance from Trevor Lawrence. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.